Prakāshānaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurudevaya Namaha. Om Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Graseka Karmane. Yesterday we were seeing one of the most important ideas in Vedanta, and that is called as Adhyasa, Adhyaropa, because this is the only way, Vedanta can explain the appearance of this universe and not find itself in contradictions. If the universe is said to be a creation, then there are many problems with that act of creation. Meaning to say, if we say that the universe was not there at one time, and then God created the universe, well, you get yourself into a whole lot of problems which you cannot answer or explain. Questions which you cannot answer. Because time is part of the universe, and creation must happen at a point in time. But right there itself you find yourself in trouble. Time is part of the universe, and creation must happen at some point in time. That means time has to precede creation, because then you're in trouble, because you say, no, God created time before He created the universe, let us say. And then again you are still in the same problem, because you ask at what time did He create time? Creation must happen at a certain time, na? There has to be a time when it was not there, and then there's a time when it was there. So that means you are presupposing the existence of time, but time is part of the universe. So where did time come from? So anyway, you will have many questions which you will not be able to answer. And if, see, simple things like for an ordinary person also, if God created the universe, why did He create evil? You start answering, there will be, what answer you will give? Anything you give, somebody will say something. You really can't answer all of these questions. No? So with regard to creation, there will be a lot of problems. Then if we say that the universe has reality as it is, that means there will be a duality now. There will be a real universe and there will be a real God. So there's duality. So the adhyasa, like this idea of Vedanta, which is fundamental to Vedanta, really addresses a number of philosophical problems that will arise if you admit the other things. It is adhyasa which protects the advaya nature of the reality. Advayananda Swarupaha, the self being Advaya and Ananda, which we saw in beginning itself. That Paramatma, Dvaya, Nanda, Purnaha. That thing is protected by Adhyas, by a superimposition. Because it is possible for a superimposition to exist on a substratum without in any way affecting the substratum. Like the superimposition of the Nama Rupa of pot on clay in no way affects or diminishes or debilitates or does anything to the clay. It doesn't add to the value of clay, no, take away from the value of clay. Like for example, if you make out of the same clump of clay, you split it in two and you make one into Ravan and one into Ram. From your standpoint, because in your head you have Raman, Ravan, right? In your head. But from clay standpoint, where is the Raman and Ravan? So the clay remains untouched by the superimposition. So this superimposition, this is adhyasa, is really the solution to many philosophical problems that will arise if you admit any other thing, that God created the universe and that there too, because in many philosophical traditions, including our own philosophical traditions, for example in Sankhya and Nyaya Vaisheshika and all of these different philosophical systems, they admit two realities which are all contradictions in terms. There is the world and there is Prakriti and Purusha. But if you have two realities, that very logically tells what? That one, where one is, if you're calling that a separate reality, where one is, the other is not there, and vice versa. So you have two realities, one limits the other. So then the two realities cannot be limitless, or what we saw in the beginning, Purna. But where the rope is, right there the snake is. But just one is an adhyasa or bhasa. One is an appearance. So, like this very important concept of adhyasa is introduced in Vedanta, and that is what is being explained, and what how exactly it is to be applied now to the individual being. That is what is now seen in number 19 we saw last. Yes. Let us see from 19 again. Nijasthana sthita sakshi bahirantargamāgamau akurvan buddhi chanchalyāt karoti vatatha tatha akurvan buddhi. Akurvan sakshi, not buddhi. Sakshi is in first case. The sakshi, not doing. Sakshi Chaitanya, which is all pervasive, does not do or cannot do. The Sakshi, which is all pervasive, which is the witness, a witness of the goings on of the Antakarana. That Sakshi is Akurvan, it doesn't do anything, that we saw The reality is described as akarta, a non-doer. So akurvan and akarta words refer to the same thing. See, this is just different forms of kru. Kru means to do. So akarta is a non-doer. Akurvan means not doing. It is a present participle of the same verb. Not doing. It doesn't do. So sakshi is a non-doer, akarta. But sakshi reflecting in the buddhi now takes on the traits and characteristics of the buddhi, as it were. Not as it takes on. The moon appears to be moving in the water. The moon is moving in the water as it were. The moon is not really moving, the water is moving. The water is going like that, and you feel the moon is also going like that. So the sakshi, because it is reflected in the buddhi, and the buddhi is moving now, the sakshi appears to be moving. What a peculiar state. I'll give you an example from very ordinary example from in life. You have been on trains and planes and all that sort of thing, right? So your seat is number 12F. So you sit in 12F. So are you moving? No, you're sitting in 12F. But are you moving? Yes, the plane is flying at 900 kilometers per hour. So are you moving? Well, yes and no. At one and the same time, isn't it? Are you moving? Yes. Are you moving? No. I don't make up your mind now. Is Sakshi moving? Yes. Is Sakshi moving? No. But you're speaking in parables, or you're speaking in contradictions, isn't it? So from one standpoint, that Sakshi which is reflected in the buddhi, it means, is the moon moving? Yes. Because I'm seeing it moving when I look in the water. Is the moon moving? No, right there, not shaking at all. Look. So, that is why I told you now, because of this type of things in life, you can move north and south at the same time. Do you know? You can move north and south at the same time. So if the train is going north and you are walking towards the back of the train, that means you are going north and south at the same. What a wonderful thing. Life presents all sorts of nice entertainment. Actually, people want to watch TV and get entertainment. You just watch life. Watch this universe. You will see all sorts of nice, funny things. See, look, one man is walking towards the back of the train while the train is moving north. He is going two directions at the same time, isn't it? So it all becomes relative. Well, see, one man walked 5 miles south. Listen to that, He walked 5 miles south. Then he walked 5 miles east. Then he walked 5 miles north. And he ended up at the same place. Because he was standing on the North Pole. So he walked 5 miles south, 5 miles east, and then 5 miles north. And he ended up at the same place. Otherwise you're wondering, but the square was not completed, how he ended up at the same place. But such things are possible. Things which you think seem contradictory, they work very well. See, the buddhi is moving? No. Because the buddhi is jada. That also now takes on its movement and all its activities from the Sakshi Chaitanya. Then Sakshi Chaitanya is moving? No, that is all pervasive. Achala Makurvan doesn't do, doesn't move, doesn't do means what? Doesn't engage in any verb. And going or doing is also a verb, na? But now in the buddhi, well, it moves. Because buddhi is moving everywhere, it is reflected there. like the moon. So, like this, you go on doing vichara about all things around. So he says here, this buddhi or the sakshi akuruvan, not doing. Buddhi chanchalyat in 5th case is given because the buddhi is moving about. Well, karoti eva. Sakshi also appears to be doing. Sakshi also appears to be doing. It is the buddhi with bahirantargamau. Sthira nijasthana sthita sakshi bahirantargamau akurvan buddhi chanchalyat. It remains in its own place and it doesn't go inside or outside, but it appears to go inside and outside with respect to the buddhi. So there is an appearance. And how the whole idea of adhyasa is involved there, we told now, one thing superimposes its qualities and gunas and traits on the other, and it's called anyonya adhyasa, which we saw yesterday. Now, in the beginning, Vidyaranya Swamiji had spoken about inside and outside. And what was there? Inside was the doer, the ego, the individual ego, which is here. That was inside. And what was outside? All Vishaya, objects. That was outside. So all emotions and thoughts will be inside, but all objects will be outside. So now this inside and outside is solely with respect to intellect. There is concept of inside and outside with respect to intellect. With respect to the sakshi, there is no such thing as inside or outside. He continues with this point. Nabahyo nantara sakshi buddhir deshe hitavubhau buddhyadyashesha samshantau yatra bhatyasti tatra saha. See, it starts by saying na bahyaha na antaha antaraha sakshi. The sakshi is neither inside nor outside. But you are the same one who goes on telling all the time that it is sarvavyapi. It is here, there and everywhere, and it is inside, it is outside, it is in between also, because inside here is the room, outside space is there, and in between is that wall, so it is there in the wall. You went on telling it is inside and outside. He said, Tau bhav buddhir deshehi. These two are only concepts of the buddhi, inside and outside. Concept of intellect. Buddhyadi ashesha samshantau. When the buddhi, etc., the antakarana, here, when that has become samshantaha, samshantau, it's given in 6 case, 7 case. When it has become absolutely quiet, it means when the intellect or the antakarana has become absolutely silent. Now, what is the meaning of absolutely silent? It means when it has become free from thoughts. You may want to say thoughtless. When it has become free from thoughts, buddhi has become free from thoughts, then what is left is only sakshi. And where is that sakshi? Wherever it is, it is. That is what it says. Yatra asti, tatra saha. It means to say, as long as the buddhi is there, there will be concepts of inside and outside. So the concept is a thought only. So when the buddhi has become absolutely quiet, silent, then there is no thought of inside or outside. And then what is left is the sakshi. And you see, he says, yatra bhati, tatra saha, tatra asti. Saha, he is there. Wherever he shines, he shines. He is there. But you see how we are so caught in the words of here and there is all spatial concepts only. Yatra means where, wherever. And tatra, there. That same place. Okay. So now we cannot come out of the constrictors of space. We go on thinking, where is it? And we start, but where is that Sakshi? There is no where. The mind has become quiet, and what is left is pure Atma, Chaitanya, Sakshi Chaitanya, and which is of the nature of, I told you previously, there's a word that Padmapadacharya uses in his bhashya on Bhagavan Shankaracharya's bhashya in Brahma Sutra. He says it is Anubhuti Swarupa. Anubhuti Swarupa word has to be studied. The Sakshi remains as it is, and its nature is Anubhuti Swarupa, means it is of the nature of pure experience, means pure being, pure isness, like that. Anubhuti Swarupa. So, and you can't ask now where, because where was a concept of the buddhi, and now the buddhi has become quiet. The buddhi has become silent. So this, but as long as the buddhi awakens, and there is concept of here and there, inside and outside, like that. So it is as it is. That is the idea. Yatra asti tatra saha. Yatra bhati tatra saha asti is there, and we are still using there. You can't get out of the. So now in number 21, very interestingly says that when the buddhi has become quiet, there is no such thing as space. That is true. If somebody says there will be no such thing as space, somebody asks that, we say, well, yeah, let there be no space. What is there? Let there be no space. Actually, this raises another little thing. And many people get scared about spirituality. When you start telling, Nama Rupa, just a mere appearance, it is not really. And when you go into Samadhi, you may stay there for about 10,000 years and people get scared. Or when you go into Samadhi, you may not come back. What? Okay, never mind. I don't want this Samadhi and all. Because we want to come back, because we are worried about this thing and that thing. There's no joke thing. I tell you, you are extremely worried all the time. You just don't know it. But we are worried about the slightest. If you go outside and your chappal is not there, then you will see what I am talking about. And then there's a small thing, chappal. What about your car? So even chappal is such a big thing. And no joke, I have seen somebody going outside, the chappal was not there, they started crying. Cry, long crocodile tears. Why a person would not get scared of this idea of I go into Samadhi and never come back? People get scared. You're so attached to a little chappal. So, when it says here now, when the mind becomes quiet and there is no space, and the Rishi so boldly says, so let there be no space. Remember, everything is in space, Everything is in space. So, in no space, there is nothing. So, let there be nothing. It's a scary concept, scary thing for people. Let it be. The world goes. Let the world go. You mean my money and children and family and everybody gone? Yeah. Let it go. So what? Like that. How nicely boldly he says also. Deshakopi na bhaseta yadi tarhyastva desha bhak sarvadesha prakriptyaiva sarvagatvam natu swataha. Desha ka, I said that Anvaya will go yadi kopi deshaha na bhaseta. Yadi kopi deshaha na bhaseta. If no space is left, when the mind becomes absolutely quiet, just now we are talking about it, na? When we go beyond the antakarana, the mind, antakarana has become very quiet. Going beyond means what? The antakarana has become very quiet. It means to say the antakarana has transcended all of its own dealings and all of its own activities and engagements and all such things. The antakarana ceases to engage in any verb. It has become quiet, still, right? Because that is a possible, one of its possible states. It is one of its possible states. We saw that in the first, in chapter 5. That when it has become quieter and quieter and quieter, because it is pervaded, antakarana is pervaded also by Atma Chaitanya or Sakshi Chaitanya. Even if pervaded by that, that is by nature silent, akurvan, akarta, not doing. It is a non-doer. So, if the antakarana is based on that, the antakarana therefore on one extreme will be participating in that absolute silent self, and on the other extreme antakarana will be engaged in frenzied activity like we are doing every day. So if the antakarana stretches between states, isn't it? So that same antakarana, if it experiences this one state of so much of activities which we had engaged in thinking and all, worried and all the time, so many thoughts going, that same antakarana can also go to its other state of pure silence. At that time, when there ceases to be any thought in that antakarana buddhi, no thought, then all things vanish, including space, and everything is in space, so all things along with space, they vanish. So if one were to say, Desha yadi kopi deshaha na vaseta, then there is no space when the mind becomes absolutely quiet, then the person is, then our reply is what? Tadhi astu adesha bhak. So let there be no space. So let everything go. Let there be nothing. What is there? If there is nothing, that doesn't mean to say that I vanish, because there has to be somebody who knows there is nothing, isn't it? So the disappearance of everything doesn't mean that I have disappeared. But what happens to our life is we estimate our life, because we identify with things outside, we estimate our life by our worth. So if our means worldly worth. So if the worldly worth goes away, I think I have gone away. We judge our life by our worldly possessions and acquisitions and all the other things. And therefore we are worried about if that goes away, may I'll go away. You please see how this thing is so prevalent and pervasive. We get so dependent on something in the world. If that thing is not there, I feel I am not there. Little things. My whole life is based only on those little things. Like for example, I told you, see, we come out in the public like this, right? We come out in the public like this, and if we are not nice and trimmed and Our hair is combed well, and somehow I feel all that is my worth. All the things that we do, and wear the proper clothes, and therefore there is that most wonderful benefit of those people who wear cut jeans. Of course, that is a different thing. It means that thing about, what is jean tone? What is that? What do you call it? Stress jeans? Distress jeans. Distress? Yeah. Distress jeans. So, in other words, for a person to wear that, they have broken down that old thing that I must be looking nice and neat and all that. You see, because I depend on that for my self-worth, like. So they broke that, but that doesn't mean to say that this person has become suddenly realized or anything. He just gave up one and took another. But I'm telling that thing can be broken. See how just how it is broken, but just gave one and took another. So he's just in the same position. He has not moved from anywhere. But this is how we get self-worth and all, by something out. But here, this thing is really breaking down all such concepts. So when space goes, the mind becomes quiet. Space goes, and when space goes, everything in space goes. Every single thing also in space go away. So then we say, let it be. That he has to. Let there be nothing. Otherwise, you say, there's a nice way to say this also, using the ordinary parlance. Let everything go to hell. Otherwise, I am going to hell. Means I am living in the midst of all everything, dependent on like a slave, in the midst of everything. Let everything be. That thing is hell. So let it go to hell. And the one who was identifying with all of this, Sakshi Chaitanya, that remains as is. Sarvadesha prakriptyeva sarvatvam natu swataha. And here he says, all the concepts which the buddhi hitherto had, that Atma is all pervasive, Brahman is all pervasive. He says, Sarvagatvam natu swataha. By itself also, it is not all pervasive. Because when you employ the phrase all pervasive, you have immediately also brought in the idea of space. And just now we said, but we just talked about the state where the antakarana suffused with the idea of the oneness of Jiva and Brahma, suffused with the knowledge of the oneness of Jiva and Brahma, there inculcates the Brahmakara vritti and dwells on it and becomes absolutely silent. The only Sakshi Chaitanya is left, Atma Chaitanya is left. Then space disappears with that intellect. So now if space disappears, there is no concept of this, the Atma being all pervasive. Sarvagata, Sarvagatvam is given here. So the Sarvagatvam, now in other words, please see this. Let me tell you one more very important idea which is going on in all of this now. And that is, in Vedanta, a very, very important principle or pair of words are used to take us along the journey. The pair of words is, now see, yesterday I talked about adhyasa, adhyaropa, right? This pair of words is called as adhyaropa apavada. Now, don't understand the word adhyaropa in the context of which we were talking about yesterday. Adhyaropa is used very differently now. The idea of adhyaropa and apavada is like this. Here adhyaropa word means a deliberate superimposition. Deliberate superimposition. And apavada means the negation of the superimposition. The negation of the superimposition. If you just want to translate in ordinary English, right? So what is the meaning of a deliberate superimposition? I'll tell you. You see, in the case of a snake and rope, there is not a deliberate superimposition, isn't it? You didn't, okay, I'm going outside looking for a rope to superimpose a snake. That is, you know, you don't go outside looking for a rope to superimpose a snake. But here, what do we mean by deliberate superimposition? Is like this. The student goes to the teacher and he says, "Hey Guru, I am miserable and I am fed up with the sansar. And I heard that there is a concept called as mukti, where I do not have to come back to this sansar. I want to free myself from this sansar." So the teacher says, in Vivek Chudamani and all, he's burning in the samsar for such a long time. The teacher says, "Good. Hey Bato, you sit down. You are right. This sansar is all full of all misery, all pain and sorrow. You sit down here now, I will teach you." After which, yajñatva mokshase shubhat ashubhat. You will get freed from the sansar which is tormenting you. So the student sits down there. In that, there is a deliberate superimposition, because for the time being, that teacher who knows that there is only one pure Satchidananda existence, and there is no such thing as sansar, and no such thing as sorrow, and no such duality at all. The teacher, knowing that, the teacher, for the sake of lifting that student, admits that there is a sansar and a duality and a sorrow and all of these things. He admits that, and then now with that admission, because that is the level where the student is standing. So that admission, knowing, in other words, admitting the illusion without the delusion, that thing is called as a deliberate superimposition. That is called as adhyaropa. And he takes the student on a journey where that adhyaropa is to be negated. That yes, my dear, there is sorrow, there is misery, there is bondage, you are in this bondage, every day you are having this experience, and you seem unable to come out of it, therefore sit down here, now let me teach you. There's something called Shastra, and there's a tradition, and all of these things. If you use it like this, you will come out from that. So this is the apavada, means we negate slowly through all of these betas and the scriptures and the tradition and the teachings and all of this, we negate this sorrow and all the things which you were thinking. And now see, the student cannot acquire anything which he did not have already. You cannot become what you are not. You cannot become Satchitananda if you are not Satchitananda. You see, a goat cannot become a rabbit. Goat is goat and rabbit is rabbit. If you are not, you cannot become that thing. So I am that thing already, and temporarily I am Satchitananda already. Temporarily, now the teacher admits along with the student, because student is thinking like that. So there is a deliberate, sort of deliberate superimposition there. The word is to be used lightly, and deliberate superimposition. That yes, there is a duality, and there is a, finitude and limitations and all the different things. That is admitted. So the admission of something which is not there is a deliberate superimposition. If in the beginning the student comes, if he's an elevated student, I am miserable, I am bound. The teacher said, no, you are Brahman. Story done. Go back home. Yes. But it doesn't happen like that. No? So there is an admission in something which is of something which is not there. There is an admission. So here also this thing started like that. This chapter started like that. You please see the Adhyaropa, and then now there is Apavada. How? Swamiji started by telling that there was Paramatma Dvayananda Purnaha. There was one Paramatma and a Purvam before. And then from that Paramatma, what happened? This whole Jagat, he became this whole Jagat, including a Jiva in the Jagat. So this is a deliberate superimposition. There is no such thing. And now he says, now this Apavada, which we are seeing here. Now that mind has become quiet, silent by study of the Mahavakyas and all, and meditation on that Mahavakya. There is one absolute Brahman. The mind has become quiet. It has become lean. Lean means dissolved. That mind, and there is quietude, and there is no space, and all the things in space, they have all vanished. And now there is only that one reality. And it is where it is. It shines where it shines. Even if you study that first verse itself, Adhyaropa and Apavada is used at one and the same time. If you are telling me it is the one reality which has manifested as Jagat and Jiva in the Jagat, right? So what you are doing is a deliberate superimposition of reality on the reality. You are doing a deliberate superimposition of Jiva and Jagat. But in the statement, there is also Apavada. There is the negation of Jiva and Jagat, because it is the one reality which is appearing as Jiva and Jagat. But the appearance of a fundamental substance or fundamental thing appearing as two other things, it did not mean that the fundamental thing in any way changed. That the fundamental clay appearing as pot did not change into something else. So the mere appearance does not bring any change in the substratum. So while I'm saying it is the same one reality which appeared as Jiva and Jagat, same Paramatma appeared as Jiva and Jagat, it does so at the same time retaining its own characteristics. And so if it has not changed its characteristics, I know that the appearance is a mere appearance and really nothing happened. So while I am on the one hand doing the Adhyaropa of superimposition, the duality of Jiva and Jagat on it, with the understanding at the same time I can have Apavada. It did not in any way change. I negated any change in that substance, that reality. So in the same sentence, if one has the knowledge, there's Adhyaropa and Apavada, and the negation of any real change. And that's why I told you the concept of Adhyasa is so important in Vedanta. So while we are admitting, if that admission is done with knowledge, nothing has happened to the reality. So I admit the illusion, but there is no delusion. You see? So this Adhyaropa Apavada thing is very, very important. Now see, just now it will come up again. This Adhyaropa Apavada, it will come up in one verse or two verses ahead. Now see that. Before we continue, let us just go through this one. Desha kopi na bhaseta yadi tarihi astu desha adesha bhak. Let it be then, there is no space. All things go away. What is the problem with that? Nothing. That is how the reality is in any case. Sarva desha prakliptya eva sarvagatam natu swataha. Sarvaga natu swataha means the self is not sarvaga by nature. We superimpose sarvaga on it, means all pervasive. Sarvaga means sarvavyapi. Sarvagatvam. Sarvavyapitvam, same thing, all pervasiveness. And these words are formed very interestingly, but anyway, you all are not Sanskrit students. Some of you are. You can study that in your Sanskrit class. Ask your Sanskrit teacher. Here is the Adhyaropa Pavada idea coming out very nicely now in this verse number 22. See this. Antar bahirva sarvam va yam desham parikalpayet buddhis taddeshaga sakshi tatha vastushu yojayet. Antaha bahihi va sarvam. See, the anvaya will be like this. Buddhihi yam desham kalpayet tad deshagaha sakshi. This is the anvaya. Buddhihi yam desham kalpayet. Whatever space the buddhi imagines, buddhi perceives, cognizes, imagines, thinks, anything, but whatever the buddhi is thinking. How the buddhi is thinking, oh, this is inside space, there is outside space, there is far space, way over there is horizon, you know. And here, this space, near space, right? And this outer space where the stars are there. Whatever the buddhi is thinking, buddhi has all of these ideas of space. But that buddhi is illumined by sakshi. Tat deshagaha sakshi. The buddhi is illumined by the sakshi. It means the buddhi pervades, the sakshi pervades every part of that buddhi. You see, the sakshi has to illumine every iota of the buddhi or not. It cannot leave out, otherwise what you will have patches in your understanding. That will be a very interesting thing, you know. Like, see, this room is made of a space from here to here, there are 20 feet, right? 18 feet actually. From here to here, 18 feet, let us say, or 20 feet, right? So if the buddhi doesn't, the sakshi doesn't illumine all of the 20 feet is a concept in my buddhi. If the sakshi doesn't illumine all of it, imagine I will be having a line down here in my, so out of the 20 feet of space, this way, I'll be seeing 10 feet. Because the other part of the concept in the buddhi was not illumined. But that will be a strange thing, isn't it? And then I switch the illumination to the other half. Then I don't see this half. I see this half now. Every iota of that idea of space is illumined by the sakshi. The idea of space, which is there in the buddhi, is illumined by the sakshi. Now, when we say illumine, see the translation, it gives pervades. Antaha bahihi va sarvam va yam desham parikalpayet. Whatever space the buddhi perceives, buddhihi tad deshagaha sakshi. The sakshi pervades every iota of that thought of space. This is first thing. And then the next thing is very interesting now. Tatha vastushu. In the very same way, all objects of the buddhi, because look, the buddhi has space as one object, but the buddhi has countless other things as object. So whether it is space, all the objects in space that is there in the buddhi, all of it is pervaded by the sakshi. And I told you, when we say in Vedanta or in the Upanishads, in the tradition, when we say that one thing pervades the other thing, or the reality pervades everything. But we saw just now in 9th chapter, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. I pervade everything in this world. When the scriptures say that, we mean to say, I pervade everything means I am everything. When Bhagavan says that in Gita, because you cannot use the word pervasiveness if that is not the ultimate meaning. How you'll use? If he says, I pervade everything, you have only two choices there. What? I am in the space between everything. Like for example, between you and me, there is a space. I am here and you are there. But between us, there is a space. So Bhagavan takes up that space because I am occupying this space. Right? This is one choice you have to explain I pervade everything. When Bhagavan says I pervade everything, you only have two choices, I am telling. Now here is the first choice. You admit that Bhagavan only pervades the space which is left over. Because things are occupying space already. This is occupying some space, this is occupying some space. So there are many spaces which are left over. So Bhagavan is occupying that space which is left over. Right? So that is your first choice. Now if you admit that choice, if you accept that choice or take that choice, what? Bhagavan is only occupying the remaining space. Because he cannot be occupying, this is my space, I am occupying this space. But now you are in trouble again. What trouble? Then now Bhagavan will become limited to the remaining space. Because there are some spaces which I am already occupying. So he is limited. So you want to admit that Bhagavan is limited? That goes against all concepts of all things in all religions. That Bhagavan is limited. So he said, no. He is occupying this also. He pervades this. Now, if you start thinking like that, the second choice now, you start going on like that, well, the ultimate conclusion of that is, he is everything. So that is the only other option for pervasiveness. You stay in between, he only occupies, he pervades those spaces that are left over. And the other extreme now is, when he said, and this is what is meant in Gita, Maya tatamidam sarvam word means everything. I pervade everything. That means I am everything. Now that same idea is being here now explained from this, instead of Bhagavan, he's using first person there. I pervade everything. In third case, which is used passively in the Sanskrit language more often than not. By me, everything is pervaded. Right? Here, the same thing is being said for Sakshi. Instead of using I, there Bhagavan is speaking in the first person. Here is the Sakshi, the reality. It is the reality that pervades every concept and idea of the buddhi. And now all space and objects are in the buddhi. The other way to say that is, the Sakshi is everything which is perceived by the buddhi. Just like how this clay has the ability to take so many shapes and forms, consciousness is able to take so many shapes and forms of all space and all the objects in the space at one and the same time. And that is called as a vritti, a mental modification. The mental modification or the vritti of the buddhi, or the vrittis of the buddhi, if you make plural now. The vrittis of the buddhi, they are only mental modification. A mental modification is nothing but a so-called modification of consciousness, which is being called here as Sakshi. So it is just one unchanging, pure Atma Chaitanya, which has taken on all Nama, Rupa, first in the form of vrittis and then in the form of all Means at a subtler level in the form of vrittis, and at a grosser level the form of all objects and things, including space. You say, yes, put it there, there is space there. You have a concept of space, na? Everybody has a concept of space. Put it, look, it has space there, put it there. And nowadays this word is being used. Don't, people say, give me space. Give me space. Don't trench on my space. We like this type of terminologies. I say green spaces. Green spaces. Like that. Common spaces. Now we started using this term in the last 20 years and all, profusely. Space, space, space. So everybody has concept of what is space. So space and all objects, because space also is an object. Space and all objects. There are vrittis in the buddhi, and the vritti is nothing but a, when we say a vritti, when we translate vritti as a mental modification. A modification of what? What modified into the vritti? Consciousness only. Consciousness modified into the vritti. Because in the final analysis, this universe represents itself to all of us as vrittis only in our mind, isn't it? Correct or not? You are a thought in my mind and I am a thought in your mind. Or a group of thoughts. So in the final analysis, all things represent themselves to us in the form of thoughts. And a thought is a vritti, a mental modification. And when we say a modification of what? We say consciousness. And please remember, that has to be understood as a modification. Consciousness doesn't modify. The clay did not modify into a pot, but it still appears as a pot, isn't it? Clay does not modify into a pot. Clay remains intact 100%. Nama Rupa was superimposed on clay, and I told you in beginning also, Nama Rupa is not real. So also Nama Rupa is superimposed on consciousness to form a vritti. Nama Rupa is superimposed on consciousness to form a vritti. And that vritti is made up of pure consciousness only, with Nama Rupa superimposed. Nama Rupa did not do anything to the consciousness. It does not modify consciousness. So when we say a mental modification, that has to be taken with a pinch of salt and pepper, if you like. Nama Rupa. Alright. So, because it says here, space and all vastu. Here vastu doesn't mean, see, you have to be careful with the word vastu. Yesterday only this vastu, vastuni was referring to the reality. Here vastu is not referring to object, this object. Vastu word is used for both. And just like how just now adhyaropa apavada is used in a different context. And adhyaropa is used. In English we do that all the time. We have to be very, very careful, you know. In English there is one word called desert and desert. And there are words like that, they are spelled the same way but they mean something different. Alright. We shall see more of this tomorrow. I was saying that tomorrow we can't have class. That means we'll see more of this Tuesday. Tomorrow I have to leave here.